Next, we'd like to approve the minutes of June 27th, 2022, special call session for the county commission.
Mr. Chairman, look to approve.
We have a motion approved by Commissioner Johnny Garner.
Chairman, I second.
Second by Commissioner Jerry Henderson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we're to approve the quarterly reports and the budget amendments. I believe for the school, they're still working. They're going to have theirs for our September meeting. And next here, we have the highway department.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the quarterly report.
I second. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Tim Crowe and a second by Commissioner Mike Alexander. All in favor of the quarterly report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have any budget amendments? And also, we'd like to Jerry, Commissioner Jerry King, not Commissioner, the road superintendent, he's not running for re-election either. So,
Jerry, I'm going to tell you that I went across the bridge you've heard a lot about over the last few years, and it's smooth silk.
next on the agenda, we have the trustee report.
Good evening. Everybody have put this report? Any questions?
Was it emailed out or mailed?
It was emailed out.
We need to start mailing back out. Everybody ain't got emails and all that other stuff.
Well, I think it's been emailed, and it would, every time. Any questions, comments? Mr. Chairman, motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Tim Crowe, a second by Commissioner Ms. Sandra Hines. Is there any other questions about the trustee report? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the county general. Mr. Gary Irwin.
Have no report at this time. We're still putting all the pieces together. Appreciate everybody that's dropped by and giving your thoughts and opinions on a variety of different subjects. And I don't think Judy's here tonight. Hats off to Judy for her help and everything together so far. So hopefully next time we'll be a full report.
Thank you. And I believe the fire department had given them earlier. And the library report, Miss Savannah, she's ill. She's not able to attend, but is there someone here with the library department? All right, we'll just continue on. On others, the planning commission has. Okay.
Planning Commission met here on July 14th, 7 p.m. in this room in order to seek public input pertaining to the following amendment proposed to the official Chester County zoning map. Reclassifying map 11, parcel 14.03, located near 185 New Friendship Road and owned by Jeff Sells, from forestry, agricultural, residential to commercial. It's so he can put in some storage units. close to his other storage units. We had a public hearing in this room, and there was no opposition opposed to that. The Board of Zoning Appeals approved it, and we asked at this time for, you have your questions, Mr. Sells is here, to go ahead and approve that so that they can move forward with that business too.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Jackie Butler, second by Commissioner Al McKinnon. Any more discussion about stuff? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
One other thing about the Planning Commission, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in this room, there will be a public hearing concerning 5 different things. Is adopting following new subdivision regulation certificates and no requirements in the subdivision regulations. The following is a resolution, public hearing notice for the Planning Commission. It's a resolution to amend the Chester County subdivision regulations adopting additional certificates and notes for subdivision plats. These are just keeping up with law changes. Private driveway notation. So, let's see, it says that this is a private driveway, it's not a public road. Chester County does not have responsibility. Chester County subdivision regulations be amended by adding the following plat certificate. We'll be discussing that tomorrow night. Certificate of approval of address, subdivision name, and street names. This is just to keep up with law changes. Notification of natural gas transmission pipelines. Anything done within 600 feet has to be, that'll be in the subdivision regulations, that they have to be notified. And the United States Postal Service cluster mailbox units in subdivisions. Any subdivision that's built now may be subject to having, instead of having an individual mailbox at every house or every residence, because of the Postal Service regulations, there'll be a cluster mailbox in subdivision. So the mail carrier will stop once, put everybody's mail in one big unit, and so that'll save them time. I guess that's why these laws changed. Now, if anybody has any objections to any of these, they can come to the public hearing tomorrow night.
Thank you. Also, in other, we have a report from Mr. Billy Gordon with Southwest. He has announced that Chester County is one of the finalists being considered for the awarding of the grant to complete the broadband in our counties. And if awarded, they would complete it sooner than they're expecting. He told me they're 90% sure that it should be awarded. And they will know around the 1st of August if it is awarded. Also, he said they're continuing to work and they're starting to come down into meeting on the west end of the county. Any other reports from anyone? If not, the question that was asked when the discussion of the educational support program for the Department of the Health employees would be reimbursed by the county. And the answer from Ms. Henley, which is the director of the Chester County Health Department, was from the state that yes, the county would be paid back if they did maintain a bed, the county would be paid back. Next on the agenda is the solid waste director and the chairman of the solid waste board, Ms. Andrea Holland and Ms. Amber Green.
Good evening. The solid waste committee meeting was held July 11th, 5 o'clock, 315 County Store Road in the recycling building, education observation classroom. I'm just going to hit a few highlights of what we discussed, and then Amber will go into more detail. First of all, we also discussed the solid waste feed update. I'm going to let Amber talk about that. The West Tennessee Regional Recycling Hub Baylor for materials. The recycling hub has sold $623,441.26 for the sale of recycling. The recycling hub has charged other counties' businesses $69,924.30 to process materials from counties. The total, $693,365.56. The hub needs a baler because the current baler we have is used every day, 5 days a week, and is worn out from use. The baler bales over 6,500 tons of material and was bought in 2017. It currently is the only auto tie baler that we have, and it cannot keep up with the material we need baled due to the wear and tear. You have to bale materials to ship it out on a semi-truck so we can make money from the recyclables we sort on the sort line. We also need to refurbish the current baler that we have now from being used so much, and that total to refurbish it would be $18,000. I will let you know this is not taxpayers' money. The Solid Waste Committee made a recommendation. There was no opposition. There was for the hub to buy a new baler. Jerry Henderson made the motion, Kevin Faulkner seconded, to use part of the $693,365.56 made from the sale of recycling to purchase a baler receiver box and refurbish the current baler. The total money needed is $334,646.25. The sale of the recycling money is supposed to be used for repairs and equipment when needed, not other things. The cost of the baler is $299,646.25. We do have quotes in our packets. Reminder, if you take the sale of recycling money and use it to bury residents' trash every year, it will close the recycling building down. Then you need to add $95,000 diversion rate that was recycled in this county onto the trash bill. Instead of saving money, you will cost the county more money by not recycling. Please remember and understand this. With the tipping and hauling fees increasing, which they are, it is important while we recycle and divert material from a landfill, it saves this county money. There's two other things that we've talked about, some government's environmental stewardship awards and the Tennessee Department of the Environment and Conservative grants. And I'll let Amber go from here.
Thank you, Ms. Andrew. All right, I'm going to get started on the solid waste disposal fee. To date, as of June 30th, we've collected $549,696. We met July 11th, like Ms. Andrew said. The trustee and I at the committee had a resolution in front of us to exempt elderly, low-income homeowners that are disabled and veterans from the solid waste disposal fee. As Ms. Andrew said, Tim made the motion to exempt the tax relief and veterans from the solid waste disposal fee, and Mr. Jerry seconded. And basically, that's a recommendation for me to bring the resolution before the whole committee. So today, there's about 300 tax relief people coming up for this year as veterans. And that comes from Lance's office. The trustee will be adding apartments, duplexes, mobile homes, and other dwellings to the solid waste fee this year. In the March meeting, when I was up here for an hour and a half and talked about solid waste, we actually passed that resolution then. We know there are 310 mobile homes, apartments, and duplexes that was missed today that will be built this year. So basically, so if you exempt your elderly, your veterans, and your tax relief people, we're going to build that out to the apartments and duplexes, and it's pretty much a wash. So 310 mobile homes, apartments, and duplexes is $26,000, and if you exempt 300 people, it's going to be $25,000. So basically, if no one has any questions about it, we need a motion to approve the resolution to exempt the elderly, low-income homeowners, disabled homeowners, and the veterans from the solid waste disposal fee. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. All right. Next is the West Tennessee Regional Recycling Hub, which is separate from your solid waste disposal fee. Please remember this. So during the meeting, Bubba and Amber talked about the need for a baler, refurbishing our current baler, and we need a receiver box. A motion was made by Mr. Jerry Emerson and seconded by Kevin Faulkner to come before County Commission to use $300,000 fund balance made by the sale of recycling to purchase equipment. As Ms. Andrews stated, none of this is taxpayers' money. It all came from the recycling hub. The recycling hub funds itself, it pays for everything. We actually spent $445,000 to run the building. Sale of recycling was $693,365. That's a total of $1.1 million. So we used part of that money to run the recycling hub, and we actually have the rest of that money in our fund balance. So I need to transfer, I need a motion to move the $336,871.55 from fund balance to the recycling expenditures budget, which is 55751,336 for recycling. But before anybody makes a motion.
We got to vote on the first motion.
Yes.
We haven't voted on the resolution yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you guys.
We have on the floor a motion by Ms.
I thought she did it and she did it and we were done.
We have a motion on the floor by Ms. Carolyn Higgins and a second by Commissioner Jerry Emerson to relieve 100% reduction fees for the elderly, low income, and the disabled homeowners and the disabled veterans. Any more discussion about that? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
I'll slow down. All right, now on to the next motion. Dwayne Edgen works in my department, and I'm gonna have him come up and talk about our baler and why we need a new baler, because he is in our building day in and day out and works in there every day.
10 years ago, when I started here, we bailed between 2, and sometimes as much as 2.5 months. We really thought we were picking up heat. Now we bail between 25 and 30 tons. Our baler had exceeded its capability. We done all the maintenance that we could actually do to it. But it needs to be redone and set back up where it can actually come on and run without us having to spend a huge amount of money on it. Because preventative maintenance is one of the cheapest things that you can do. As far as why we need the new baler, we're not necessarily looking at tomorrow or the next day. But we all know that we've already been promised within the next 5 years, our solid waste bill is going to double. So in order to try to offset some of the costs, you know, all other counties is going to be just like this. They're going to be struggling trying to figure out how they're going to pay for their solid waste bill. That's a huge amount of jump in a short period of time. So after myself, I'm always looking for a way to be able to help offset costs. The thought of all the other counties, it would be way more convenient for them to bring us recycling to offset their cost of their solid waste. So having all that in mind, all the other counties would contribute to maybe paying a part of offsetting this cost. And that's the reason we need the baler to help with our one, to take some of the pressure off of it. And we have grown each and every year, and I suspect that we will continue to grow each and every year. It's amazing how much more that we get each and every year, and I don't know what's all from. It's just really amazing. Thank you.
I'm just trying not to stay for an hour and a half like I did in March. All right, so we need a motion to move $336,871.55 from fund balance to the recycling expenditures budget, which is 55751,336 for recycling.
I'll make that.
That's second.
We have a motion to move transfer of funds from motion made by Commissioner Mike Alexander and a second by Commissioner Jerry Emerson. Any more discussion about this? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it still correct in saying that the recycling and the solid waste are 2 separate entities?
Yes,
You
sir.
can't take money from one and go to the other.
No, sir.
Okay, I thought it was the one thing.
Yes,
This
sir.
being no cost to the taxpayers' money, this being a transfer from line item for money
From the recycle.
on the recycling. Since it's, go ahead, if you have a question.
Oh, the other counties bring their fair share.
They do. We charge them $35 to $50 a ton when they come in. So Carterville brings a 53-foot semi to my scales. We weigh it in, it's got 12 tons on it, 2 times a day. We charge them. Then if there's contamination in it, if there's plastic chairs, toilets, anything in it, that bathroom tissue that we do not recycle, we charge them $90 a ton. Yeah, every county's different.
One more question. Could you tell everyone in other cities that are bringing recycling?
We have 13. We have the city of Selmer, Hardin County, and this is all on our website too. We have Hardin County, we have Lexington, Henderson County comes, Carterville, City of Lakeland, City of Henderson, Chester County, obviously, McNary, City of Adamsville, City of Selmer. We are working with the City of Jackson. I had a call last week for Bradford, Martin, Greenville, and one other one up that way to start bringing recycling here. Harrisburg has called, Bartlett has called. So those are a few we have on the waiting list, because not only do we need another baler, but it is also time for us to add on to our building, because we have no more room to process anything. So we're getting close to max on processing and recycling.
So the price of recycling has gone up tremendously in the last
Yes.
year.
With your gas being as high as it is, milk jugs, we do 4 loads a year, and they're anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a ton. We're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 for a load of just milk jugs. I wish everybody here would recycle more. Aluminum is high, PET, which is your #1 water bottles. We're fixing to send a load of those out tomorrow, and we're gonna get $22,000 for those. Now, next year, during COVID, it was awful. We made enough money to run that building. We probably made about $30,000 extra that year, and that's it. This year, we've made $693,000. Next year, we might not make that. That's why you can't take that money and pay the solid waste fee.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. This being a transfer of money, we need a roll call.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe. Kevin Faulkner.
Yes.
Al McKinnon. Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Carolyn Diggins.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Howard.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
15 in favor.
Next, we have on the agenda the Rescue Squad Director, Mr. Dylan Faulkner. You want to get that microphone there? Okay, how you hear you?
The last time we spoke, we left 2 proposals for our plans. Since that time, that money has been moved to a different location. I asked the mayor to put this back on the agenda to readdress the situation of the radio system. The radio system for our department is vital. It's no different than law enforcement, it's no different than EMS or fire departments. Our responders are running 200, 250 calls a year or more. But when we get to a call and cannot communicate, we may get a chest pain. Well, before EMS gets there, first responders more than likely to make, if they can't communicate with E911, that this chest pain is now a cardiac arrest, that patient's life is greatly impacted by that. Because we don't know where that ambulance is coming from. We may need that only line to communicate. The problem with radio systems is it's 15 years old. It's not ever been updated. It was bought through the Chester County Emergency Management Agency in 2008 for a total of $5,000. Mike Perkins was the EMA director at that time. Since then, prices have went up tremendously on what the cost of the system is. But what we give you is priced for the top of the line system. That's the best input system that there is. It can be narrowed down from that. That repeater system is a DMR compatible system to where if the rescue squad ever had to go digital in compliance with the county, it would already be set up for it. Everything's included in the quote that we asked. That's our licensing to change, to move to the new tower at Chester County Rescue Squad's building. That tower is 180 feet. If we went to the top of that tower, we would not interfere with any other antenna or area-wide communications and inter-area communications. We would not interfere with anyone else's system. We're only at 120 feet per gallon. We would be at 180 and 190 to the top of our antenna. The ultimate goal of the request is not a want, it's a need. If we do not figure out a way to upgrade communications for Chester County, the rescue squad may not be that very responsible. The rescue squad has added a 501c3 and we're actively looking for grants. There's not a lot of grants there for communications for rescue squad. Question?
Yes, this radio system, this will give you enough communication power to reach all the way from, say, Massville, Woodville to, Milledgeville.
With any system, and I believe any of your fire law enforcement here will tell you, with any system, you will not have 100% coverage. We can put a simulcast system in, and we're still going to have dead zones. Right now, the problem is we can't communicate from Jackson Creek. We can't communicate from Glendale Road. Once we leave the city limits, we can't communicate. And if you can't communicate with dispatch, you have no ties to law enforcement, then we're a domestic assault. That's a danger to a responder, but you have no way to communicate that. That's what we're looking for, is the safety of our responders and citizens.
And to clarify, this is asking for $19,794.35 for the much needed radio system, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we have a motion and a second.
I make a motion.
Sorry.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carolyn Higgins, a second by Commissioner Al McKinnon. We need roll call.
What was that now again,
$19,794.35.
I have a question about this.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not keep guard all the time on this. Are we taking this money from the reserve ARPA money? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, sir. This will come out of the ARPA.
That's what the motion.
Yes. Right there. Ms. Carolyn? You want to modify your motion to have this money come out of the ARPA?
Yes.
Okay. Start with roll call, please.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love. Kevin Coffin. Al McKinnon.
Yeah.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yeah.
Sandra Hopkins.
Yes.
Joseph, Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
14-4, 1 abstain.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to thank the Commission, the Budget Committee, the Mayor's Office for the increase to the annual donation for the insurance that will help offset costs to the department. That just came in, that bill just arrived today, so we will be pay that. So I appreciate you all, thank you for your time.
Next on the agenda, discuss and consider the bids for the asbestos removal and the bid for the demolition of the old medical building. We have Chair, Ms. Sandra Hire, would you like to discuss about that?
The purchasing committee met on June 17th, and we only had one bid for removal of asbestos. It was $29,750. We had 2 bids for taking down the building, and the lower bid was $52,020.03. So is there some discussion?
With any discussion about that, there being 2 separate bids, was asbestos has to be removed first before the building can be demoed. And they were separate bids, and I think we need to do them separately because there was 2 separate bids. The first one for the removal of the asbestos, if that is made a motion and approved, would be for $29,750.
This was not covered in the ARPA.
No, it's easier now since ARPA funds in there. This also would come from ARPA funds. The demolition.
What did we say that day?
It was going to come from the governor's initiative, which you can, but we can do it out of either fund. It just would have to wait on approval for the state on the state initiative grounds. And Mr. Gary, you said you was checking on that, but it'd be best to have it come out of ARPA funds, correct?
But he needs really quicker.
Okay. That way we can get the demolition, if it's wanted to be done, it can be done within the next few months. If not, we can do it through the governor's initiative, and it might be winter before we do it. So, if everyone has any questions about that?
They're gonna build a basement in, tear it down, or is it gonna be a hole in the ground?
It's going to remove it and fill it back in the dirt.
But I understand exactly. The governor's initiative, that's still available for something else.
Yes.
I hate to spend this ARPA money, and then just because we didn't ask for the governor's initiative, we didn't get it. You know,
We can do it either way, but we hadn't got approval back from the state, and we can go ahead and do it with the ARPA funds.
My question would be like that, if we have something else in line, that's a grant. It's our money, we have to return the grant will play out.
might be better to go ahead and use the other money in case we never get to use it. You know,
That bill ain't
that
going
would be my recommendation. Use the governor's initiative, like you say,
All right. For the asbestos bid, there's a motion.
I would make that motion to use to pay for the demolition and the asbestos removal with the governor's initiative.
I'll second.
All right. Motion and a second.
All right,
We'll take the-
We were just approving those separate, and now we just put it together.
Yeah, let's do them separately. The first one being the asbestos. And I've got this right here in front of me. For $29,750 to have this come out of the governor's initiative grant. We have a motion by Commissioner Barry Smith and a second by Commissioner Terry Dale. So roll call, please.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yes.
Kevin Faulkner. Yes. Al McKenna.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Carolyn Dickens.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hyder.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Gary Bell.
Yes.
Bob Lewis.
Yes.
15 in favor.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the low bid for tearing down demolition of the building and use the governor's initiative.
Second.
We have a motion to use the governor's initiative grant for the demolition of the old medical building for $52,020.03. Motion was by Commissioner Tim Crow and second by Commissioner Todd Lewis.
This is a local contractor too.
Yes, both of these are local contractors. The fact, all only gave bids was. So any other discussion about the demo? If not, roll call, please.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lewis.
Yes.
Kevin Faulkner.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Terry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hyer.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander. Yes. Terry Bell.
Yes.
Bob Lewis.
Yes.
15 in favor.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the Carl Perkins Center, Ms. Pam Nash.
Well, it's like coming home to see all these faces. So many of you I either babysat for, gave piano lessons to, went to school with, or church with, and it's just good to see everybody. And, you know, Judge Bailey and I had many, many hearings in this courtroom, but it sure didn't look like that when we were here. We didn't even have air conditioning. We had to open those windows and we were sweating, sweating, sweating. But, did y'all get this done before Judge Bailey passed away? Did he get to see it? Do you know?
That's the one.
It's a courtroom redone. Be sure to be proud. Okay, what I have before you is some reports, and I'm sorry this didn't get emailed out. I didn't realize that was something that we needed to do, so I apologize up front for that. But when I went to work at the Carl Perkins Center, leaving juvenile court here in Chester County, it was bittersweet because I love Judge Bailey and I love doing what I did. But in going to the Carl Perkins Center, I was able to serve so many more children, start so many more different centers throughout West Tennessee. We covered 20 counties. We have sites in all but 3 of those counties, and we're working to get those sites in this coming year. But I went in 1986, and in 1987, one of the ladies that you saw hand out the language raise her hand, she was the first social worker here. She's the 3rd person I hired, and she's been with me many, many years now. The other young lady, Kirby Foss, is our current county director, and she's been with us for 15 years. We don't have a lot of turnover because I think everybody knows the difference it's making in the lives of children in their work, spending their time in their career and making that happen. But we've been looking for a site in Chester County for about 10 years. First State Bank gave us the room that we're in now. It's more than a room, but we're going to have to run it. And so we started looking and we have not been able to find a location. And then I heard that there was a building that might become available, and that was Jeff. His name is McGurl. Thank you, Jeff McGurl. And so we went to see him to see if there was a possibility of securing that building for the center. And he was all in favor of that. We prayed about it a lot, and we had a donor that donated $300,000 to the center so that we could purchase that building. So praise God, we've got a building, and it's a building that we can grow into, and it's a building that can help children. And as you read through here, you'll see we're accredited by the National Children's Alliance and the National Exchange Club, and we're licensed by the State of Tennessee Department of Children's Services. But even more than that, we have served so many children here. We work so closely with the Department of Children's Services, the local law enforcement, the DA's office, and many, many other social service agencies. Whatever our kids need, that's what we go after. And we take care of them. If a child had to go into state custody, you're looking at about $29,000 to $32,000 a year. The average cost to serve a child through our services are $600 a year. The money to have a child in state care comes out of the taxpayer's pocket. The Carl Perkins Center does not charge for their services. We are strictly by getting donations. You've probably seen the Circles of Hope telethon, Blue Sweep Dinner auction. Those are just a few. And then every county has their own fundraisers, and I know many of you have attended those and supported those for a long time. So I think it's just real important to know that we have pretty much gotten the donations to run the center. We now have a location, and an anonymous donor has given us the money. But we need some things done to the building. If you've been in the building, it needs some floors, it needs painting, it needs air conditioning units, it needs a roof. And so when I come before you, I'm asking you to consider giving us $114,650 for the renovations needed that's listed on your sheet. The second page you'll see is the number of children and individuals that the center has served, and I just went back 3 years because I was seeing a trend. It's usually about 200 to 245, and you can write that down. The next page is about our services. There are 13 different services that the children here in Chester County get, and it really makes a difference. I asked the DA, Jody Perkins, I said, what difference does it make for the child advocacy services with these kids in your prosecution? And he said it has quadrupled the prosecution of those that hurt our children. So I know that we're making a difference in the lives of children. We're giving them hope for the future, and we're helping them live through what has happened to them. The next page you'll see the cost, and I actually had Jeff Walkley to come down here and go through the building and tell me what we needed and how much that would be. And that's where I have come up with $114,000. And the very last page is just to, I know that you all receive state funds, and I did not highlight the nonprofit. That was already highlighted. But that just gives an idea of what they hope that money will be spent for. So at this time, I would really like to ask the County Commission, Chester County, to consider giving us $114,650 for the renovations on the building. Do you have
Mayor,
any
I'd like
questions?
to add to what she said. There's law enforcement here, some who are in the audience that know something. There's the youth service officer that was in that office right back there, but she used to be one as well, predecessor. Sat on the secret team, the Child Protective Investigator team. It's DA's office chairs it, and you've got DCS involved, the center's involved, the CAC Center, and various law enforcement, and various people that are involved in the investigation of situations that most of you are never even aware happening. The private, the protection of children, and all that's involved. And if you find out, it's because they finally made it down there to get prosecuted. Even then, we protect the children as much as possible. That process is difficult, very hard. And it could not be done without the CAC Center. It wouldn't get done. The forensic interviews that are necessary to be able to get proper interview process for evidence. If you don't do it right, it will not get in. They are it's indispensable to the prosecution of these people that have done heinous things. It's just absolutely necessary. That's the harder underlying side of this thing. But there's 1,000 other things, maybe a million, that center does every day that oftentimes you never know happen. Families that are referred to their parenting classes. There's just resources that go out the door. She's got a long list, but among all that, a lot of that stuff you don't really know what it means because you've never been involved in it. But I cannot imagine what it would have been like trying to be a youth service officer to take care of Chester County's children without that center and what it means to the courts and to law enforcement, to everyone involved in trying to protect the DCS. They're an advocate. Sometimes for other DCS workers, a lot of them are great. Sometimes hierarchies and bureaucracy is not everything we like it to be. And they advocate. Those children have to go testify oftentimes. The center prepares them for that. I've watched them go down there and spend hours preparing that child to understand what it's going to be like to sit there and testify. If you can't tell it, I'm passionate about this because because this is protecting our most vulnerable and defenseless. It's just something that, you know, good job the folks do. And I thank you, Pam, for everything. And I hope we can put together a system that represents our people.
Thank you, Terry. Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Will 100% of these funds be spent on the building or are they administrative?
No money on administrative fee.
100%
It would be 100% on the building. And we can show you the budget, and we can come and show you how it was spent. That's not a problem at all. No, 100%, no admin cost. Yes,
So
sir.
the telethon you have every year,
Yes, sir.
majority of that money goes, what percentage goes to the children and, you know, I don't know what to call it, put that on, but
96% go to children, and 4% is admin across West Tennessee. Because we have a county director like Kirby in every county, 20 counties.
So we'd like to ask for a motion for this amount, for $114,600. This, she says it will only be used for the building.
I'll make a motion, yes.
We have a motion by
Second.
Commissioner Al McKinnon and a second by Commissioner Kevin Ball.
I'm there.
For this money to come out of the ARPA funds.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yes.
Kevin Faulkner. Yes. Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Terry Emerson. Yes. Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow. Yes. Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
15 in favor.
Thank you all so much for caring about the kids in Chester County. You're really stepping up and you're really making a difference. So God bless you and thank you again.
On behalf of the commission, tell that anonymous donor, thank you very much. We love you.
I will do that.
Next on the agenda, we have the Dixie Youth, which we're proud that we have one of the teams that possible will win the World Series with us. And we're glad that y'all are here. Would y'all like to stand? Thank y'all. So now if Mike Nice.
I want to thank everybody for allowing us to come back and speak one more time about Dixie Youth. We've had a great season at Dixie Youth this year. We won 3 district championships in the boys, and we won 2 district and 2 state championships in the girls. We're sending girls to Tioga, Louisiana, to play down there a couple of weeks. That's experiences they would never have without Dixie Youth, because who from Chester County would go to Tioga, Louisiana? They're awesome. Get to experience things they'll never experience in their life. I've seen a lot of y'all at the ballpark this summer. Seeing, if you was there, you've seen the need, you see what we got. You know, we're asking for a one-time donation of $300,000 to build youth bathrooms, concession stand, and meeting room. Y'all should all have a plan of that. Y'all should all have the cost breakdown. It's been a great season of all playing for Dixie Youth. It's also been a great season of things happening, because coming before this board in February put a lot of eyes on Dixie Youth, and there's people seeing us this year that hadn't been paying us any attention. So with that, we've got a $5,000 donation for our batting cages. We reworked them. We spent They donated 5,000, we put 300 with them, we did a little more than we had to, really nice. City of Henderson the other night donated $100,000 towards lighting. We see the need of the lighting this year. We spent this year alone, with some help from Jones Contracting, we spent about $8,000, and then they donated some equipment and helped us out. They probably spent, not count their equipment, a couple thousand besides that, trying to keep that old lighting going. Their donation, that'll help us a lot there.
You're asking for $300,000 in that.
We're asking for $300,000, we need about $270,000 on our building. We're asking for $30,000 to redo the electrical as it comes into it's got an old transformer system with some relays that's set above. When you turn the lights on,
Let me say this, I'm gonna make a motion to give you $300,000. And we got a second, and now discussion. There's only one thing that I am asking for the board's help. There's a lot of this information that this county commission is to a key of. I asked Mr. Irvin to go back. I've been on the budget committee since 2010. We never touched your money. 1 year, 2013, we cut it to $2,500. And then the next year, it went back to $10,000. 2010, it was $10,000. 2011, it was $10,000. 2012, it was $10,000. 2013, it was $2,500. 2014, 10, 15, 10, 16, 10, 17, 10, 18, 10, 19, 10, 20, 10, 21, 10, and 22, 10 this year. Now, there's been years, y'all didn't come pick it up. But with saying that, I am happy to make the motion tonight. I'm just asking for y'all's help that when we deserve to take a hit, we deserve it. The hits we've been given on cutting our y'all funding, we didn't deserve that. So that's what we done. Mr. Irvin, on that back. I appreciate y'all. I'll make the motion. He's made a second.
We have a motion to approve the $300,000 for the Dixie Youth, Commissioner Dan Crowe, and a second by Commissioner Al McKinnon. Any more discussion or questions?
I will tell you that I sent pictures of we were supposed to not do, did that. Joggers, and the rest of the meeting was there. There was others that showed up as well, which we appreciate. What they're trying to replace is concession stand bathrooms. The bathrooms, there's pictures that hopefully you can see, they're substandard. There's no privacy. And then the same thing with that concession stand. I'm sure it was nice 30 years ago, whenever it was built it. I'm kidding.
Built in 1978.
And it is past its ability to accommodate what needs to be done. And that building needs replaced. And same thing on making a motion.
So, any more discussion? If not, roll call, please. I'm sorry.
Do we just like give someone 300,000, or do we get? How do we know that money's going to be spent?
What I would like to do on that money is y'all keep that money in escrow account, whatever y'all want to do. And as progress is made, as we tear it down and progress is made, you've seen your building inspector, Mr. Brett Bashir, is out there, and he reports back to whoever that the building's torn down, the frame's up, the pad's board. We can't do 300 and then y'all pay us back. We're gonna need some money along. We can get the project going and keep the project going if y'all fund back the money as we turn the seats.
Make a draw.
Yes, sir. We want to make sure everybody knows exactly where the money's spent, because every dollar is going to go to Dixie. We want to make sure on that bill.
Respect this stuff.
Yeah. We're going to build a building the whole county can be proud of. When they come down here, they're going to be proud of what we've done.
Commissioner Girl, would you like to amend your motion to keep that as an ARPA fund and also for installment payments?
That'd be fine.
Yes, sir, I will. I'll make it come out of our budget and they can afford
discussion? If not, let's roll call, please.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yes.
Kevin Faulkner. Yes. Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
15 in favor.
Before you go, Mike, I want to say something. I spent several hours with this man. And with Casey, we had a lot of phone calls. What I've learned is this man is the heart of this. And he gives endless hours. And he loves those kids. And I just want to let you know publicly how much I appreciate you and your team and what they do out there. You've made an enormous difference in our community. And you're the one who did it.
Next on the agenda, we have the information on a letter of intent and grant applications. This letter of intent was for the Tennessee Historic Development Grant. We got it approved to put in for our letter of intent for it to update and remodel part on this courthouse. It is on the National Registry, and we sent in a letter of intent what we were wanting to do, and we received a letter back telling me they was pleased to inform us of our letter of intent for the Tennessee Historic Development Grant Program has been approved. If you submit more than one, it is imperative to confirm which property was approved. The next step in the process is to complete a full application, which is due by August the 19th. This application requires a Part 2 form, and this can be got through a link on the Tennessee Historic Grant application. So we have passed one progress, and now we're going to itemize and try to get this application in to do a lot of the work here on the courthouse and get extra credit share. So that is where we are on that. Next on the other business, I need to read this letter. Chester County has been recognized for having the second largest oil spill in Tennessee's history. On June the 29th, a contract mower was mowing a section of pipeline owned and operated by Mid-Valley Pipeline Energy Solutions when they inadvertently contacted an area of exposed pipe, causing a breach in the line. Before the line could be controlled, 201,600 gallons of crude oil was spilled out, of which most of the gallons has been reclaimed at this time. The location of the spill was a section of pipeline north of Weeks Lane, approximately 400 feet north of Horse Creek, which runs north and south and passes under Mayfield Road. The oil spill flowed east into Horse Creek. Horse Creek was downed at two locations north of the spill site. Dam number 1 was located just south of Mayfield. Dam number 2 was north of Mayfield Road. The spill has been contained in that area, and cleanup is ongoing. And with the response activities transitioning to operation and maintenance. During this incident, the spill site was and being monitored for any health hazard potential and any water quality hazards, with none reported at this time. The cleanup is in the final stages of the contractors. They should be shrinking their footprint in our area for the next couple of days. During this time, Johnny Ferris, our emergency management director, has coordinated with Environmental Protection Agency, Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, the pipeline company, and all others involved in the accident for cleanup efforts. They have constantly been in contact with the mayor's office and with our EMA office during the entire time, and they want to make citizens sure that the property was safe and that there are no health hazards in the area of the spill. And I have talked to the homeowners, most of them, and they have been well pleased with Energy Solutions cleanup. And you might hear about this on World News, and you go out in the World News about this. So that is just an update of that. Next on the agenda, we have the Election Commission, Ms. Kathy Fitz.
Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Hutcherson and the Commission for giving me the opportunity to come before you tonight to just give you an update on where we are with election facilities. Just a little timeline, probably, well, I know Barry can attest that it's been 4 years that I've been asking for us to have acceptable facilities for our elections. It's been 8 months since the Department of Homeland Security came and audited what we have and presented us with 17 pages of findings. You remember I even told you, they said we're doing the best we can with what we've got. So it's now been 5 months since I came to this group and asked you to please consider providing some support for us. And you know, we're 2 elections in this year, and we still haven't come up with any options for us. So I just want to share with y'all, if you look at page 3 of the packet of information you got, that was a picture that was taken this morning. We had maybe a ½ inch of rain, and you'll see where early voting was flooded within less than a foot of our election night reporting equipment. So it's something that's dire need. This is simply a risk that we cannot continue to take because it's going to affect the integrity of our elections. So originally, when we first started talking about that, there were 3 options that we looked at. One was to possibly renovate the old medical building, and that turned out not to be a viable option, as you know. The other possibility was the purchase of the old Regions Bank building, and it cost about $750,000. And then finally, there was the proposal to build a new building on the old medical building site at a cost of about $1.5 million was the best estimate that we could get. So tonight, I'd like to bring you another option that has materialized, and it's one that would address all the issues that we have with a considerably smaller price tag, which is what we all want. The former 81 Pools building has become available and is currently for sale with an asking price of $350,000 for the building and the 1 acre lot that it's owned. I'm not going to go through all of it. As you can see, I've given you the booklet that we've talked through. However, I have highlighted how this building would meet some of the needs we have, and I just want to mention some of those. First of all, we have everything in one location, and that was a really big issue with the Department of Homeland Security. It's impossible to provide the level of security that we need when we're spread out in 7 different locations with our equipment. So this facility would allow us to have everything in one place: early voting, offices, storage, where we can do all of our testing in one place. Everything would be contained. Currently, like I said, we're in 7 different locations, and this would also free up space. We've heard that all the county offices are just busted at the seams, so this would free up 3 office spaces within the courthouse as well as room over in the 4-H center. So it would be a win-win. There's also the protection of the equipment. You remember there was concerns about us loading it and being subject to weather and things like that. This particular facility already has a garage door in the storage area where we could simply back our truck into the building and load there without there being any chance of damage to it. And as best we can figure out, there are no leaks or mold or anything like that we're seeing. Also, with having everything in one location, we would actually be able to put in security systems. And that was another thing that was really highlighted by the Department of Homeland Security, is that we don't have security systems in place. Well, we don't because we're scattered all over, everywhere. Now, keep in mind that we have a $25,000 grant that we can buy those security systems with if we do it before the end of the year. After the end of the year, that money goes away. So we just need to kind of keep that in mind. That's money that the county would not have to cover. It also provides voter convenience. There's ample space. People can line up inside the building. We can pave right up to the doorway, so everything will be handicap accessible. We had 2 people today nearly fall coming out of early voting. In one case, so it happened, another voter was there and caught the lady and helped her down the stairs. So it's really becoming an issue for us. There would also be additional parking, so everything would be easily accessible. We would have to have people walking from over the behind the black box to try to vote. It's much closer. And it would create or eliminate the problem we've got where we're within 100 feet of any elected officials. Because that is a problem. I continue to tease Stacy that the men's bathroom is within the 100-foot boundary. So, you know, he has to deal with that. Now, if you look on page 12, I have given you a diagram of the building. Now, I am not an architect by any means, but it gives you an idea. What is in red, that's on the very back page of your packet, the things in red are what would have to be addressed. You see that those changes are minimal. First of all, as I said, asking price of the building is $350,000, and it's exactly what we need, a big open space. Now, we would have to put in some offices, and to do those internal, just walls, would probably be about $20,000, and to paint. It's got some nice waves on the walls, but we'd probably want to paint that. The biggest expense would be paving. There is if you can see, there is a flat surface that's right outside the door. We would move that main entrance and pave that. The estimate we've got on that is $33,000 to do that. That would be our big expense. We would also have to install an HVAC unit back in the storage building. The front part is temperature controlled, but where we have the equipment, that would have to be temperature controlled. That has to be for the integrity of our equipment. And that would be about $12,000. And then I know some folks had suggested that we didn't need just a metal building. So to paint the outside of it and maybe brick up a few feet just for aesthetics, that'd be about $10,000. That's certainly for me. Y'all have all heard me say I'm all about function and not how it looks. So, but that total cost to improve would be about $75,000. So, as you can see, that's much less than what we've talked about before, and it certainly would address all of the issues that the election office is currently having. So, you know, a lot of organizations have come asking out for funds, and I support every one of them. I do with my personal contributions and things like that. But keep in mind that the only thing that the state says you must fund is the election commission. And so the state really doesn't care whether it comes out of ARPA funds or it comes out of the county budget. I know we don't want to see, we're asking for ARPA funds simply because we know that the county budget is already stretched so tight. And so at this point, we would like to ask you to consider making this purchase for us. And it's something we just can't keep putting off. It's not going to go away. The problem's not going to get better. Magically, the laws are not going to get more lax. And so we're just playing with fire until we can get this problem addressed once and for all. And I thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to come to you once again.
Total of the building was, I'm sorry, what you said the total of the building was?
Yes, it's 300, the asking price is $350,000. That includes the building and 1 acre lot.
How far are we?
That is the asking price. I do elections, I gotta negotiate, but
The improvement for 75,000.
yes, yes. And those are just estimates because we know that some of the things like paving, we would have to get bids to do that. However, I would assume that it would be no more than this, as the person, there was a paver that gave me this price, and I'm sure that at the very least, they would bid that, and then hopefully someone else might even bid less.
So a total of 425.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna give a little price.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we go with this. That sounds like a money-saving deal for Chester County, and have everything clean.
At least negotiate. Let's go. Can you amend your motion? We can negotiate a little bit.
I have a question. The highway department not do your payment?
I'm sorry?
The highway department not do your payment?
I don't believe so, because it's on private property. I mean, we can certainly ask. Hey, I'm for it.
It's private if we buy it. That just seems like a lot.
The estimate that was given, it would be 18 to 20 more parking spaces. They would level it off to where it would be even with the sidewalk, put in 5 inches of gravel and 2 inches of asphalt with a 1-year guarantee.
Since this is the first time that I've been hearing of this, I know we have a motion, but,
Me,
yes.
I hear you.
But what I'm asking is, this is the first time it's been brought to the commission, and this is another option, correct?
That is, however, I know the commission will not meet again until August, and so September. So at that point, one, we definitely couldn't be in before the November election. We're getting really close on the grant money, and, who knows if the property is still being bought.
We haven't had time to even look at the building or anything. You want to make a motion before we?
We've already spent about 500,000, another 425.
We have a motion to have this come out of the ARPA funds also.
Can we please not negotiate? We're gonna buy it.
How many square feet is this building?
I'm sorry?
How many square feet is this building?
It's about 9,500 square feet. No, 4,500 square feet, sorry. It's 50 feet wide by roughly 95 feet long.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. And is there a discussion about, we have a lot of questions, I think, since this is the first time.
I have a question. You made a motion. So what's your motion to purchase the 350 plus the 75,000? Or was it just to purchase the building? And then where was the money to come from?
Go where everything else goes on the county. What about both?
Is that what you're thinking? Is that what your motion intended, 350 for the building, 75 for the improvements, money to come from ARPA funds?
So we have a motion, we have a second on that motion. And his motion is that purchase the building for $350,000 and the improvements for $65,000. And the money to come from ARPA. And we have a second by Yes, Mr. Adams.
Or we're not going to negotiate price, we're going to have a 350.
grant is for, there is a security grant that I can get through the election office if I can get everything in one place where I can actually secure it.
Well, right now, because we have a motion and a second, we need to have a vote. Or any other discussion about this?
I'm not trying to be smart. Do you think the people right up there in that section of town to go over and do everything?
Absolutely, it couldn't be more convenient, it's right on Highway 45.
I understand that, I agree totally. But several months ago, it was gonna be too much trouble for everybody to go across town if we had to reach it. So I was.
You never heard that from the election office,
No,
trust
I
me.
did not. I'm just making a statement. And also, we also said, we've spent a lot of money on, but we also said, if the commissioners will remember, we said a few months ago, I'm not saying this against y'all, because y'all need everything as well. Said no more brick and mortar. And we didn't need any more buildings. And now we're doing buildings. I'm just saying, I'm not discussion.
Yes, sir.
If this goes to paper, we made most of the $5 to $355, what do you think the salary on those? So we can do right.
I would like to see recess, come back after negotiations.
Yes, I want to take care of the meeting.
Yes.
But I am very uncomfortable with voting to spend $350,000 on a building that no one can assure me absolutely expected it, thought about it, and that just makes me real anxious. It sounds like it probably would. Yeah, I think, but I am real anxious about spending $350,000 on a building. You tell me you went out there with 3 or 4 people and verified this thing's good, and we figured out what it costs, and a couple of realtors come with this at a good price. So I know it works functionally, which is good, but the rest of this stuff, there's a whole lot of detail that I'm
Just so you know that 5 members of the committee have actually seen the facility.
Yes, sir, we can.
Did anybody go out there this morning when they were training and see if it was leaking or anything?
I did not, I was dealing with the leak and everything.
I would just like.
Since we already have a motion and a second, we can come back here at a later time, but we need to vote on this motion and second, because it's already brought to the table. So, we do need more discussion and more, looking into the building.
I'll take my motion back, table it, we can discuss.
Rescind the motion.
So you're rescinding your motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second. Will the September meeting still be a proper time to?
We have a special call meeting.
If you assess and come back into session a week from now, do you have to consider that a special call?
We can recess, come back. You can't adjourn, come back. You can recess.
So you could do that without it being a special call meeting.
This one. So is that a motion to recess?
Let's approve our notice first.
Okay. Before we do a recess, to come back for the election commission office, we also have 2 things left. One, let me give notification about our Tennessee State Fair. We have been notified for the fair to participate. Each county has set up an exhibit. The state fair this year runs from August the 18th to the 27th. It is in Lebanon, Tennessee. It's also considered the Wilson County and state fair. But Chester County is participating in that. Also, last on the agenda, we have notaries.
Yes, sir, we have 7. And notaries for this evening are Seth Anthony, Chastity Barnes, Vicki Clayton, Ellen Goodman, Elizabeth Landers, Carmen Lofton, and Emily Mitchell.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second. We have a motion to approve and a second by Mike Alexander. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now we have, going back to the Elections Commission, to recess this till, that's what I was looking at. Next Monday night.
Mr. Mayor, would it be appropriate if Kathy and her staff could maybe get with the buyer and maybe schedule a time for a tour for everybody to see it between now and then? I have seen it, I'm going to be out of town the rest of the week, but I think it would be appropriate for everybody to go out there and look at it and talk about it. And
Yes, but with this commission, to meet again before the 4th, that gives us a limited time.
The seller has told us he would be happy to meet with them. I am in the middle of an election right now, but if we can find a time that the whole commission can go, or anybody that has an interest, I'll coordinate that.
You just better off just to set a time to do everything.
Who would negotiate with the buyer? Who's authorized? Let them know what the county commission needs to be the one to make an offer to the owner. I mean, we're not authorized.
Well, I don't know who, with the owner and all, we can have meet with them and, as far as negotiation, before we brought it here, we had to get an offer. But at least they would take, they bring it from the commission. But to have carry this meeting on again, next Monday night at 7, would that give us time, would they be able to meet with? And we just have to contact everyone.
She's checking with them.
Mr. Chairman, could you make a point to have someone appraise that building before you come back and vote on it? Is that possible?
We could see. I'm sure we could get someone to appraise it. This Brent just brought up, sort of puts us in a situation here at the end of the election time. But it would need to be this commission and we'll vote on it. But if we could just.
Could you meet Monday at 3 o'clock?
When?
Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
If everyone could meet Monday afternoon, Mr. Marty, would that be all right for us to view the building out there? And so if everyone could meet out at A1 Pools at Monday at 3 o'clock, and then we'll meet again, reconvene at 7 Monday night, and we'll deal with this one issue.
You need a motion, that's correct?
Yes.
Make a motion, we recess and reconvene Monday night, 7 o'clock, between now and then. I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion to reconvene at 7 o'clock next Monday night, and use the building at 3 o'clock. We have a motion. Second by Mike Alexander. Is everyone in favor of that? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make one statement. We know that this has got to happen. This has got to happen. These monies for all of this has got to happen by in the next couple of years, being dictated by state, federal, whoever. So this is something that the county to spend now or whenever, but we're gonna have to spend it. So just know that at least while we still have some of the ARPA money, at least it will not be a tax expense for the county that we know is going to be coming. So let's just kind of keep that in mind.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.